When you think of pirates, what comes to mind? A parrot on the shoulder, an eye patch, wooden legs, and a buried treasure chest? The stuff of legends and children's tales? But what if I told you that the real history of pirates is far more insane, bloody, and even political? The high seas were not just a stage for swashbuckling adventures, but a battleground for power, wealth, and survival. For centuries, these outlaws operated outside the law, challenging the authority of empires and carving their own destinies amidst the waves. These were not merely thieves and cutthroats, but cunning strategists, ruthless warriors, and some surprisingly, even shrewd politicians. Today, we'll meet the 5 greatest pirates in history who challenged empires, commanded armies, and ruled their own kingdoms on the seas. From the Caribbean to the South China Sea, their names echoed across the oceans, striking fear into the hearts of sailors and merchants. Their stories are not for the faint of heart, filled with tales of incredible brutality, unimaginable wealth, and shocking betrayals. And believe me, not even Hollywood could have made up these stories. Prepare yourself as we embark on a journey to meet these legendary figures, to understand their motivations, their methods, and their enduring impact on our collective imagination. These are the tales of the true pirates of the Caribbean and beyond.
Perfect.
The Caribbean, a paradise of crystal-clear waters and lush islands, was also a battleground for European powers in the 17th century. Amidst this struggle for colonial dominance, emerged a figure who would become synonymous with both terror and, surprisingly, respectability: Henry Morgan. Born in Wales, Morgan found his calling not in the rolling hills of his homeland, but in the lawless expanse of the Caribbean Sea. He was a privateer, authorized by the English crown to raid Spanish ships and settlements. But Morgan's ambitions and his ruthlessness knew no bounds. He quickly gained a reputation for daring raids and brutal efficiency. Port-au-Prince, a bustling center of trade, was sacked and left in ruins. The fortified city of Portobello, believed to be impenetrable, fell to Morgan's cunning and the ferocity of his men. His most audacious feat, however, was the raid on Panama City, then a hub of Spanish wealth and power. Morgan led his men through treacherous jungles, surprising the unsuspecting city and unleashing a wave of violence and destruction in their quest for gold. Morgan's methods were brutal, even for the standards of the age. Torture, extortion, and wanton destruction were tools of his trade, employed without hesitation to extract wealth and sow fear. His name became a whisper on the lips of Spanish sailors, a warning uttered with a mix of terror and grudging respect. Yet, despite his reputation as a ruthless pirate, Morgan's loyalty, at least on paper, remained with the English crown. His raids, however brutal, weakened England's enemies and brought vast riches back to English coffers. This seemingly contradictory nature, a pirate who served a king, would define his legacy. In a shocking turn of events, instead of facing punishment for his crimes, Morgan was knighted by King Charles II. He was appointed Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica, a position of power and responsibility, tasked with upholding the very laws he had so flagrantly broken. The pirate who had once terrorized the Caribbean had become a respected official, a symbol of England's complex relationship with piracy. Henry Morgan, the epitome of a contradiction, died wealthy and celebrated, his name forever etched in the annals of both piracy and, ironically, English history. While some pirates reveled in the lawlessness of their profession, Bartholomew Roberts, known as Black Bart, came to piracy reluctantly. His story, unlike Morgan's, began not with ambition for wealth or power, but with the misfortune of capture. In 1719, while serving aboard a merchant vessel, Roberts' ship was captured by pirates. Instead of resisting, Roberts, recognizing the futility of defiance, joined his captors. Little did he know that this twist of fate would set him on a path to become one of the most successful pirates in history. Roberts quickly rose through the ranks, his intelligence and natural leadership qualities evident to those around him. When the previous captain died, Roberts, a mere 6 weeks into his involuntary pirate career, was elected as the new leader. He accepted the position, perhaps seeing an opportunity to shape the destiny that had been thrust upon him, and shape it he did. Under Roberts' command, the crew thrived, capturing ships with an efficiency and ruthlessness that spread fear across the Atlantic. He became known for his meticulous planning, his tactical brilliance, and his unwavering determination. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Bartholomew Roberts sought to bring order to the chaos of piracy. He understood that a disciplined crew was a successful crew, and he implemented a strict code of conduct aboard his ships. Gambling, a common pastime among pirates, was forbidden, as were fights amongst crew members. Excessive drinking, while tolerated on occasion, was generally frowned upon. Roberts believed that a sober and disciplined crew was essential for both success and survival. His flag, a stark black banner depicting a skeleton holding an hourglass, became a symbol of his philosophy and his ruthlessness. The hourglass, a constant reminder of mortality, served as a warning to his enemies. Time was running out. Surrender or face the consequences. Roberts' leadership style, a blend of discipline and charisma, earned him the respect and loyalty of his crew. They followed him willingly, drawn to his vision and inspired by his success. Under his command they amassed a fortune, capturing over 400 ships, a feat unmatched by any other pirate in history. For 3 years Bartholomew Roberts ruled the seas, his name whispered in fear and admiration. He challenged the established order, amassing wealth and power that rivaled that of nations. But like all legends, his time was destined to be cut short. In February of 1722, while anchored off the coast of Africa, Roberts' fleet was ambushed by a British naval squadron. The ensuing battle was fierce, a clash of cannons and cutlasses, but Roberts, always a fearless leader, fought with his trademark courage. Despite his bravery, Roberts met his end that day, struck down by grape shot while leading his men. His death, a significant victory for the British Navy, marked the end of an era in piracy. The reign of Black Bart, the pirate who had instilled discipline and a code of conduct in a world defined by chaos, was over. Bartholomew Roberts' legacy, however, extends far beyond his death. He challenged the perception of pirates as mere drunken thugs, demonstrating that intelligence, discipline, and organization could be just as effective as brute force. His story, though ultimately tragic, serves as a reminder that even in the lawless world of piracy, leadership and vision could forge a path to power and, for a brief time, even challenge the might of empires. The high seas were a man's world, fraught with danger and ruled by iron fists. Yet even amidst the ruthlessness, there were those who defied expectations. This is the story of Anne Bonny, a woman who carved her own legend in the annals of piracy. Born in Ireland, Anne's early life was a far cry from the adventures she would become known for. But the confines of society could not contain her spirit. She yearned for a life less ordinary, a life on the edge of the map, where the rules of civilization faded into the salty air. And so, she made her choice. She abandoned the safety of her known world, choosing the untamed freedom of the sea. Disguised as a man, she joined a pirate crew, leaving behind the life that sought to define her. Little did she know her name would soon be uttered with a mixture of fear and admiration. Anne Bonny was not content to simply blend in amongst the rough and tumble crews of the Caribbean. She possessed a rare and ferocious spirit, a burning intensity that set her apart. In the heat of battle she was a whirlwind of fury, her blade flashing with deadly precision. Her courage was not mere bravado, it was an intrinsic part of her being. She fought alongside the most hardened pirates, including the notorious Mary Read, their names becoming synonymous with daring raids and audacious escapes. They were a force of nature, challenging the very notion that piracy was a man's domain. Word of Anne's exploits spread like wildfire. Her fiery temper was as legendary as her skill with a cutlass. She brooked no insult, tolerated no challenge to her authority. Those who underestimated her, who saw only a woman in a man's world, paid dearly for their mistake. But even the most legendary pirates are not invincible. In 1720, Anne Bonny's ship was ambushed by pirate hunters. Most of her crew, incapacitated by rum, were unable to put up a fight. Legend states that Anne, witnessing the cowardice of her comrades, roared in frustration. "If my comrades had fought like men, we wouldn't be hanging now." Despite her capture, Anne Bonny was not destined to swing from the gallows. Though sentenced to death, she cleverly used pregnancy pleas to delay her execution. Whether she truly was with child, or if this was a cunning ruse, remains a mystery. What became of Anne Bonny remains a subject of much speculation. Did she escape her captors, returning to a life of adventure? Or did she choose a quieter path, her past a secret buried deep within? The answer, lost to the mists of time, only adds to the allure of this extraordinary woman. Few names inspire such primal fear as that of Edward Teach, better known to the world as Blackbeard. Sailing the Caribbean in the early 18th century, his very visage was a weapon. Imagine, if you will, encountering his ship on the open ocean. Blackbeard cultivated an image designed to unnerve even the bravest sailor. He adorned his thick black beard with ribbons, sometimes weaving in slow-burning fuses. This created a haze of smoke around his face, giving him an almost demonic appearance. The effect was devastatingly effective. Many a merchant ship, upon seeing this apparition emerging from the mist, chose surrender over facing the fury of Blackbeard's broadsides. Such was the power of his carefully crafted persona. But Blackbeard was more than just theatrics. He was a shrewd tactician, a ruthless leader, and a terrifying force on the high seas. As we shall see, his reign of terror would leave a permanent mark on the history of piracy. Blackbeard's ambition went beyond mere plunder. In the spring of 1718 he set his sights on Charleston, South Carolina, a bustling port city crucial to colonial trade. With his fleet, he blockaded the harbor, effectively holding the city hostage. For days, ships were prevented from entering or leaving. Merchants, fearing for their valuable cargoes, watched helplessly as Blackbeard and his crew roamed the waters, masters of their domain. The citizens of Charleston were in a state of panic. Blackbeard had a specific demand: a chest of medicines. Whether this was a strategic move to replenish his own stores or a cruel display of power remains a point of debate amongst historians. What is certain is that he got what he wanted. The citizens of Charleston, desperate to end the blockade, met Blackbeard's demands. The medicines, along with other valuables, were delivered, and Blackbeard, true to his word, lifted the siege. It was a stark demonstration of his power and a reminder that no port was safe from his reach. Blackbeard's reign of terror, though impactful, was destined to be short-lived. In November 1718, Lieutenant Robert Maynard, an officer in the British Royal Navy, was dispatched to bring the pirate captain to justice. A fierce battle ensued off the coast of North Carolina. Blackbeard, believing himself invincible, boarded Maynard's ship, leading a ferocious assault. Accounts from the time describe a chaotic melee, the decks running red with blood. Blackbeard, it is said, fought like a man possessed, sustaining 5 gunshot wounds and countless sword cuts before finally succumbing to his injuries. Even in death, he remained a figure of awe and terror. Maynard, in a gruesome display of victory, had Blackbeard's severed head hoisted upon his ship's mast. It served as a grim warning to any who dared follow in the pirates' wake. Blackbeard's reign had ended, but his legend, passed down through generations of sailors, would live on. While the Caribbean was a hotbed of piracy, the South China Sea saw the rise of a figure even more remarkable. Her name was Ching Shih, and her story is one of ambition, ruthlessness, and ultimately, unparalleled success in the pirate world. Ching Shih's early life was far removed from the world of piracy. She was, by some accounts, a courtesan in the bustling port of Canton. But her destiny shifted dramatically when she met and married Zheng Yi, a powerful pirate captain commanding a vast fleet. Upon Zheng Yi's untimely death, Ching Shih, displaying remarkable cunning and leadership, seized control of his fleet. This was no mean feat in a world dominated by men. She outmaneuvered rivals and consolidated her power, uniting disparate pirate groups under her banner. Ching Shih's fleet, at its peak, numbered over 1,800 ships and boasted a staggering 80,000 pirates, men and women, who swore loyalty to their formidable leader. She had become a force to be reckoned with, a true empress of the China Seas. Ching Shih's success wasn't solely due to her charisma or ambition. She was a shrewd strategist and a ruthless enforcer of discipline. Under her command, the Red Flag Fleet, as it was known, operated with an iron fist. She established a strict code of conduct, a set of laws governing every aspect of life aboard her ships. Desertion was punishable by death, as was disobedience or theft from fellow pirates. Rewards were given for bravery and loyalty, ensuring that her crews remained fiercely devoted. Ching Shih understood that to maintain control over such a vast and disparate group, she needed to be both feared and respected. Her laws were harsh but effective, creating a sense of order and purpose within the chaos of the pirate world. This disciplined approach, combined with her strategic brilliance, allowed her to challenge the most powerful empires of the time, achieving victories that would cement her place in history. Qing Shi's reign at the helm of the Red Flag Fleet was marked by a series of audacious raids and confrontations with the established powers of the region. The Chinese, Portuguese, and even the mighty British Empire all found themselves facing off against her formidable fleet. What is perhaps most remarkable about Qing Shi's story is not her prowess in battle, though she was undoubtedly a skilled naval commander. It is the manner in which she ultimately secured her legacy, choosing negotiation over a last, desperate stand. In 1810, facing a concerted effort by the Chinese government to crush her fleet, Qing Shi did the unthinkable. She negotiated. And not for mere leniency, but for a full pardon for herself and her entire fleet. Astonishingly, she succeeded. Qing Shi, the most successful pirate in history, retired peacefully, her wealth and freedom intact. She died years later, not on the deck of a burning ship, but in her own bed, a testament to her unparalleled cunning and ambition. From the sun-drenched Caribbean to the choppy waters of the South China Sea, we've encountered figures who embody the allure and terror of piracy. Henry Morgan, the privateer knighted, blurring the lines between legality and ruthless ambition. Bartholomew Roberts, a man of contradictions, a disciplined pirate living by a code amid chaos. Anne Bonny, defying societal norms, proving that the pirate spirit knew no gender bounds. Blackbeard, the master of spectacle, his name whispered with a mix of fear and grudging admiration. And finally, Qing Shi, the woman who built a maritime empire, challenging and besting empires, only to negotiate a peaceful and prosperous retirement. These 5 names prove that piracy wasn't just about buried treasures or talking parrots. It was about power, politics, and terror on the seas. From pirate knights to empresses of the oceans, they shaped history in ways textbooks never tell. If you enjoyed these stories, comment below which pirate you found the most insane, and subscribe for more unbelievable, but true, historical tales. Until the next adventure.